back to We Are Liars podcast, Pretty Little Liars podcast, obviously. I'm Liz,
I'm Michelle.
and you guys already know that, but this evening we are joined by Brooke Siffrinn, a PLL stan, as she says, so we're
Yes.
so happy to have you. Welcome to our show.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. This was so nice to like rewatch Pretty Little Liars. Like I didn't know how much I needed to rewatch it, you know?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh,
I'm
like
so happy that you did rewatch. You rewatch the whole first season?
I did, and I'm gonna keep going. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Please update us with your thoughts. Like
Oh,
your, 30-something-year-old thoughts,
yeah.
like
Yeah, 30 something. We'll leave it right there at 30 something. Like this is so sad. My husband's like, "You're watching this again, huh?" It's like, "I sure
Mm,
am."
Have
Sure
your
am.
husband watched with you before?
No, it's funny because I started watching it later than it came out. I want to say I started watching it maybe around 2013. So a couple years
okay.
after it started. And him and I were just dating at the time, and I was living alone in my apartment, and I would watch Pretty Little Liars till like 4 a.m. for some reason and scare myself. Like I was, I was like, "What is your problem, lady?" And I would send him a text and be like, "Oh my God, I'm like scaring the shit out of myself." And he's like, "Do you want to come over?" I was like, "No, no, no. I'm just gonna continue to be scared. I'll sleep with a knife under my pillow." It's like I'm an adult,
Oh,
but
yes.
it's whatever.
It does have creepy tones. There are
It does, yeah,
undertones of creepiness.
Yeah.
Definitely in the first season, but I feel like as the show goes on, it just gets obviously way more whacked, but
yes,
also scarier. Definitely
it does.
scarier.
Yeah, it really
Yeah, and
does.
Michelle doesn't like dolls, and I had
No.
pre-warned
No,
her
I
that
hate
there are
dolls.
lots of
Oh
dolls
no.
in the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. It
So,
becomes a thing for
spoiler there.
sure.
It does.
Yeah.
It becomes a thing. All
Great.
right, so your journey, 2013, what made you decide you were going to watch the show?
So I had just moved to LA. I moved to LA mid 2012, and I didn't have like Hulu or, well, actually I must have had Hulu. I had to watch this somewhere, but I only had like Hulu. I didn't have cable or anything, so I was always looking for new shows to watch and binge, so shows that had several seasons. And it just looked up my alley, and I started it, and I was immediately hooked because I love escape rooms and things like that. So like this is just so fun. Like there's clues, there's like crime. I just loved it. It just spoke to me, and I never
Yeah.
stopped.
And it hooks you. It hooks
It
you
does.
in the first episode where they all get the text that,
Yep.
A's is around and Allie is
Uh-huh.
maybe not dead, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
what's happening here? I want to know so much more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you just watched it one time through, or you have binged it multiple times?
Only one time through. So
Wow.
this is my second binge. And I was wondering, like, because it's been a couple years since I watched it. And I was like, am I gonna feel like watching it again? And you're not wrong. Like it hooked me again the first episode. I was like, God, this show
Mm,
is just good. I just love this show. So yeah.
yes. Yeah.
And you
It's been
finished
a
the
long
series?
time.
You finished the series?
I finished the series the first time. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did.
So I've watched
Yeah.
it the whole way through. Yeah.
So like, okay, obviously I don't know anything, right?
Yeah.
And so going back, can you pick up clues and you're like, oh, this makes so much, or is this show like so whack that you can't do that? Because that's what I've heard. It's crazy.
It is really crazy. It's interesting you asked that because I'm, of course, watching it from the mindset of like, well, I know how this whole thing ends.
Mhm.
And I think they do a really good job of like keeping you in the dark. Even like there's stuff I forgot about, obviously, because it's been like a couple years, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember that happening. And like some stuff makes a tiny bit of sense, but not a lot of it. I'll be really honest with you. Like, at
Yeah.
least to me. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
Right. And I feel like there's so much that happens in the 7 seasons that even a clue that you're going to get right now in season 1
Yeah.
probably doesn't matter
Right.
by
Yeah.
the end of the show, you know?
Yep. That's fair. Yeah.
Like they keep opening and introducing storylines, and then most of them they'll close, and then they'll open some more and then close, and then like the without obviously giving too much away, but there's like a bigger picture to all of it, but it kind of
Yeah.
doesn't really matter,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
what you've
I love
learned.
her
It's
face.
just all like, I know, I'm
Michelle's
like
That's
like,
like the
confusing the shit
first
out of
time
her.
I'm hearing that, Liz.
Really?
Yeah, that there's like a bigger a bigger situation?
Well, there's just the entity of A. Like you
Okay, yeah. I know
obviously
that. Yeah.
for 7 seasons they had to keep you
Yeah.
going with that. So we
True,
had to
yeah.
keep developing it a little bit more and a little bit more.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
there's a lot of times where you like think you know where something's going,
Yes.
and then it's just absolutely not going there. And it
Exactly.
does that several times throughout the series. So
Mhm.
keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Do you have a favorite character?
I had a feeling you were going to ask me that. And I was like, this is so hard to answer because I'm obviously in love with a different like guy every episode. I'm like when because Caleb comes in like later than the others, and I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot how much I love Caleb. And it's funny because I was watching it this weekend and Arisha and I were hanging out. And I said something about how hot Caleb is. And she's like, are you kidding me? He's not hot at all. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, let's get you to the eye doctor, lady. I was like, first of all, it's like Caleb as a whole is just so sexy to me.
Yeah.
Like,
It's because he's
Yeah.
confident, but
yeah.
he has that bad boy persona, but he's not a true
Yes.
bad boy.
Yeah, it's like the bad boy with a heart of gold. Like, how can you
Yes.
not love that? You know?
Yeah, he's perfect in every
He
way.
really is.
Also,
But
we felt like it was slim pickings. Like Noel Khan for like a hot second.
yeah. Yeah. What do you
And
guys think
then
of Ezra?
He's cute, but because he's Ezra
Yeah.
Fitz, it's
Right.
really starting to get to wear us down, I think, with Ian Harding. Like Ian Harding, adorable in person,
Yes.
like a
Yes.
sweet person. But
Yes.
Ezra is like, ugh, because
Right.
of the situation. And
Yeah.
obviously, like the listeners know how we feel about this. I don't need to get into it too much. But if
Right.
you want to weigh your opinion on Ezra, we certainly can do that.
No,
absolutely.
I'm with you. It does get to a point where it's like, this is weird, but he is attractive. So it's like
Yeah,
I could see being a student and being like, oh, okay, he's hot, you
absolutely.
For
know?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
But
my God, yes.
yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. I can agree with that.
Yeah, it just made him like it makes him a little less attractive. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no, you're
Even though
right.
he's an attractive person. And then we have Toby. I mean,
Just
Toby.
the slow burn of Toby. You know, it's funny because watching it again, I was like, well, the first time I watched it, I was like, did I ever think Toby was a bad guy, or did I always like sympathize with him? Because
Mm,
like watching it now, I'm like, well, I know Toby's a good guy. Like I know what happens like with him and Spencer, and so I'm like, obviously, I'm like rooting for him from the beginning, but I can't remember if
right.
I was the first time I watched it.
Yeah, I remember watching that scene in the prom
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
where he does go into the lab with Emily,
Hmm.
and I remember thinking like, "Oh, this is like not good."
Yeah.
But not like scared of him, just thinking like this guy's
Right.
misunderstood. Maybe he isn't great. And then this time around, remembering obviously what happens with him, I'm like, "Oh my God, no. He's
Yeah.
harmless.
I
Don't,
know. I know. I love Toby. It's
teddy
weird
bear."
because like the older I've gotten, the more appreciation I have for like those just sweet, really nice ride or die guys. So
Yep.
watching it the second time, I'm like, is Lucas kind of cute? It's like so weird because the first time I was like, oh, Lucas, like the nerdy friend, but I'm like, you know what? I love Lucas. He's just so
Right.
sweet.
Like
So
he
that's
would
weird.
be a really good partner.
He
Yeah.
would.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Yeah.
He's a ride or die, you know. I have a lot of love for Lucas, so it's
Yeah.
really funny watching it again, like several years later, and like where I'm at in my life compared to where I was when I first watched it. So
Yeah.
fun. It's
Would
fun
you
watch.
say that Hannah and Caleb are your favorite ship?
Yes. Ah, because I just remembered Spencer and Toby. Yeah, I think Hannah and Caleb are probably if I had to choose a favorite couple, I think for sure it'd probably be those two.
That's wild to me because we're only in season 1, which means we're doomed. Because like if we're getting this now and because of how this season ended and
Hmm.
with Caleb coming back and I want to see him and Hannah reunited. Also, I
Yeah.
found out a spoiler.
Yeah, she
Oh.
found out a
Accident.
spoiler.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Can you say what it is, or have
Yeah,
you
well,
already
we
said?
can say it
Oh
here.
yeah, or something like that.
Wait, what? I don't remember that.
Oh, I
Wait,
don't know.
when is this?
I don't know.
I
This is
won't I
so
won't
funny.
tell. I won't tell when.
my God.
Yeah, so I was like, oh man, my number one.
Yeah, but
This is gonna
like,
come at number
Clearly,
don't harp on it.
I'm
I was
Really
gonna say
don't
it
not.
harp
must
on
not
it.
matter because I don't
Brooke doesn't
remember
even
it.
remember it.
And I,
Right.
yeah, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
spoiler for me too. A spoiler for my rewatch. Like, how did I forget about that? Yeah.
You have a while. I'll just say that. You'll have a
Okay, good.
while.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
not to worry. Okay, so let's just go over what the F happened in this first season. This is some craziness.
Yeah.
So we obviously know the premise. Girls that have been separated for about a year,
Mhm.
that they have a tragedy of losing their ringleader, if you will, Allison De Laurentiis. And so they find out that unfortunately she is murdered.
Mhm.
And during this first season alone, we don't have anyone behind bars. Like nobody is accountable for this.
Oh
That's
my God,
true.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no one to blame. They blame Toby for a while, but then they're like, you're
Mhm.
free.
Yeah.
Spencer for a little bit, you're free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And
I also
Ian,
forgot about that Spencer was like a person of interest for a brief minute. I was like,
yeah, I forgot about that too.
So
so crazy.
much.
It's funny because these seasons are so long that it's like
Yeah.
you forget a lot of stuff that happens if it doesn't make a difference to the ending.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wild to see some of this stuff again.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
what I keep asking Liz too. Like, because I'm trying to, as a new person, and
Yeah.
you're trying to figure it out. So, like, every time A does something, I'm like, does this matter? Or are they just doing this as like the end card of the episode? Right?
Right.
Are these
Right.
rats coming back? Do I need to like
Yeah.
pay attention and count? Ooh, that's a leather jacket. That must be A.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't bother looking for
Don't
clues
bother.
on
I
your own.
know. I
It's
know. I know. I
like
know.
you'll just
I know.
get lost in it. But
Right.
I understand that. And I do like the end, how they added that in as because it wasn't there originally, but like towards the end of the season, they had like these things like A was doing behind the scenes. And I loved that addition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Yeah.
did. It's creepy.
I
It's fun.
forgot that happened until Michelle and I watched the pilot,
Mm.
and I expected it to
Yeah.
happen and it
Same.
didn't. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, wait, this is a thing. Like, this is a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
guess we started it later on, but it automatically triggered. And I didn't even remember that was a thing until like the end
Mhm.
of the episode came and I was waiting for the A
Yeah.
thing and there was
Yeah.
no A thing.
Yeah. It's a good addition.
It is. It keeps you on your toes. And like I've
Yeah.
explained to Michelle, sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. Just don't hold on to it until
Yeah.
you need to.
Right.
They'll show it to you
Sure.
if you need to know it, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. It's
Yeah.
a good rule of thumb.
Right. And so because no one's behind bars, they had arrested Toby because they had found his sweater on Allison and blood
Mhm.
evidence. But
Yes.
I feel like it's very clear the audience and then the police figure out he did not kill her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, first season Toby, I mean, what did you think, Michelle, of first season Toby overall? Because he is just,
Yeah. I
he
mean,
really comes in with a bang and then, like, really, like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think in the beginning he was just so awkward and reminded us of a vampire. Like
Mm.
he should have
Mhm.
yes.
been in Twilight,
Yeah,
and
for
just a
sure.
couple of the scenes, the way he moved. But
Mhm.
he grew on us because I think you talked about him with such positivity. I was like, okay, I can read the room here. He's a good guy, just a little
Yeah.
awkward. And he
Yeah.
Yeah.
gets a haircut at some point, so I'm waiting for that.
A,
It
a
says the
couple guys get some haircuts,
Yes. I
and
have
they are
teased
worth it.
that.
I love a good haircut.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for
same.
that. I'm waiting for a haircut.
Yeah.
No, but Toby, yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
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 Same. So during the season, our girls are, I mean, taunted and tormented by this unknown entity, A, obviously the whole premise of the show.
Mhm.
They know everything about past, present, etc. of all these
Mhm.
girls, and they know a lot on Allison and her relationship with the other four girls and her relationship with whoever. I mean, she was very popular. She had a lot of
Yeah.
people that she touched in her life.
Mhm.
So we learned via flashbacks that Allie obviously liked a lot of attention. She usually got what she wanted, even if that means blackmailing people that got in
Yeah.
her way. Yeah, so we see this numerous times. The first really with Toby, where in the flashback we see that she's blaming him for snooping on them, even though we find out later on he didn't, or so he says, and I think we believe that he didn't.
Yeah.
And then we also see him get blamed for this fire that we know the girls have started that blinded his stepsister, Jenna.
Whoa.
It's like were you
this,
guys doing
this
any
is
of this
crazy.
in high school? Like
No.
like my high school experience was nothing like this. Like this is wild.
No.
Yeah, there was nobody I disliked enough to actually want to do some harm to them. You know?
It's truly wild. And I was in Pennsylvania, and I can tell you. They're in Pennsylvania. That was not my Pennsylvania. I can tell you that right now.
Where do you think, if you had to guess where Rosewood would be in Pennsylvania?
Because
they're close to Philly, right?
I don't know. Are they? I guess they do go to, yeah.
Because Melissa lives in Philly. She went to school there.
Right.
I think. I could be wrong.
I mean, it looks very similar to northwestern Pennsylvania, which is where I'm from, as far as trees, the small town vibe. But I guess all of Pennsylvania probably looks like that, if I'm being honest. So yeah, they probably are closer to a big city. I was not. So that's
okay, cool. I just wanted to see, since you've lived there, if you thought it was a specific place. My dad grew up in Pennsylvania. My grandparents live in the Scranton area, which is super, super wooded. It's not, there's not any cute town like this.
Right.
And Pennsylvania is also huge. So
it is a big state. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Could be anywhere.
It could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we said, Jenna is now blinded, and Allie has now blackmailed Jenna, that we find out, because Allison knows that she is assaulting her stepbrother. This is wild.
It's all so crazy.
Brooke, what did you, I have to hear what you think about Jenna.
Jenna,
she's a vibe.
Jenna's wild. I kind of obviously you start kind of feeling bad for her at the beginning. She's been blinded by this terrible accident. But as the show goes on, I'm like, man, she deserved to be slapped by Hannah. I'll say that first. No one come for me, okay? I'm not for physical violence.
Of course.
I will get a DM. But okay, she was doing some shady stuff, and I'm not a Jenna fan. And it's weird because she's in a Christmas movie that I watch every year, and I'm like, this is so not Jenna Marshall. It's such a different character. But
that's so funny. Which Christmas movie?
It's called Ghosts of, or no, is it called Ghosts of Girlfriends Past or something like that?
With Matthew McConaughey?
No, it's not that. Oh my god, I said that this weekend too because Arisha and I were trying to find it. It's Girlfriends of Christmas Past. That's what it is.
Oh.
So they all dated the guy that was in Fuller House. Do you guys remember the vet who worked with?
Yes.
Did you guys watch Fuller House?
I watched
only the first
episodes.
season.
Yeah.
So he dates DJ for a while. He's another vet. He's in it.
Yes.
And all these girls that used to date him get together and try to sabotage his Christmas party. And Jenna she plays a party planner. And so she's planning
I love
his
it.
party and he doesn't know it. And it's just so different.
Does she have an American accent in it, or does she have?
She does. Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love her. I mean, I follow her on all socials, and I think she's just so funny and very creative, and just a nice person. She seems to come off as being a nice person. So support for her in that movie. It sounds like a funny.
It's fun. It's a fun
Christmas
movie. Yeah. I mean, they're all. It's what you'd expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think about how I felt about Jenna. I don't even remember how I felt about Jenna my first watch, to be honest.
I remember hating her for a while. So
yeah, I don't think I had that strong of an opinion.
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't this time. So maybe I don't know why I don't have it this time, but at the first watch, I was very mad at her for a good majority for some reason. So
yeah, I just feel she was always very mysterious, and there's always something we had to find out about her. There's still more that we need to find out. Obviously, we find out she's having an affair somewhat with Garrett.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
what?
I also forgot about. I was like, oh my God. Like this show is like re-shocking me all over again. I love it. It's so fun.
As soon as I saw Garrett, I remembered, I was like, oh, wait a minute. He like is also hooking up with Jenna.
Yeah. God, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't really remember much else about him.
I don't either. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
yeah,
That's
we'll
good.
see.
She's like, oh, okay.
But Ian, one of Allie's boyfriends, I guess we could say, he is huge in this first season, at least. Like when we first introduce him, and then he continues to drive storyline. He is an ex-boyfriend of Melissa, and then Spencer and him had a kiss while he was with Melissa, and then they broke up. They don't actually tell you why they broke up the first time, right?
Melissa and Ian?
I don't think we
Yeah,
know that. Not that it matters, but
No.
and they
I
get
don't.
back together because he comes into town, and this is after Spencer has also kissed Ren,
Yeah.
Melissa's fiance. This is just so
He
crazy.
has a
Spencer,
thing.
yeah, she loves that forbidden fruit, I
You
think.
know?
You
Mhm.
know, it's like
And every man in this show apparently doesn't want to date anyone their own age. It's like unreal.
except
Every
Caleb.
single one of them, except for Caleb.
Exactly. Except
Yeah.
That's
Caleb.
why
Well,
he's
and
good.
Toby, I guess.
And Toby. And Toby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
The two good ones, you know.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like all of this blackmailing and getting involved with people maybe she shouldn't leads to Allison being murdered. Again, not saying that she should have been murdered for any of the things that she has done,
Correct.
but it makes sense as to maybe why she was murdered.
Yeah.
All right. So during this season, we have a bunch of A contenders. Our first, Mr. Noel Khan himself, Michelle. We
Yes.
also have Jenna, obviously, and Toby. And most obvious, I feel, to the liars would be Ian.
Yeah.
Who, you know, I think by the end of the season, you're like, well, he's definitely not A.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Noel Khan, when they made that reveal, Michelle was like, Noel Khan? What? There's no way it's Noel Khan.
I just don't believe it. I can't give him the credit. I can't. Him
Yeah.
showing up at the last scene in the episode of this finale. It's like,
For what?
What are you doing here,
what?
Noel Khan? Just
Yeah.
to see what's happening. Yeah.
He had a contract for so many episodes. and so they're
Exactly.
like, we have to shove you in here. That's
Right. Here, don't have any lines, but we'll just shove you in
Show
the
up.
corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Noel-
I mean,
All right, so wait, Michelle, do you like you're a Noel fan, or you're like, how do you feel about Noel?
Okay. This is like super. I don't know how we're gonna say it. Like we're just talking about boys, right? Like every teen drama we watch, it's fun to have a crush, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Of
And
course.
so like when it first started, like Ezra, as we said, he's so cute, but like it's icky. The teacher, I couldn't get past it. And I
right.
was like, slim pickings. And then Noel Khan came and I was like, oh, hi, Noel Khan. But then Noel Khan got kind of weird.
Yeah. His
So-
Cheshire cat smile, like he was always smiling.
But he's got beautiful teeth, like a beautiful smile.
Oh, gorgeous teeth.
Yeah, he's a great looking kid for
He's
sure.
great. Brett
Yes.
Doherty, right?
And he's aged like a fine wine.
Has he? I haven't looked at him, I don't think, in a long
Yes,
time.
he's super cute.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's really sweet too when we met him.
Yes, we
Very, very
met him.
nice.
Yeah, he's very sweet.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Noel Khan, I don't know how I feel because now he went away to military school. Is that where he went?
No, I think he just got suspended
Oh,
because
okay. In my mind, I shipped him off.
He's at war.
that's Maya.
Yeah, Maya
Right.
got shipped off.
Maya.
Um,
Oh, sweet.
no,
Maya.
I think he just got suspended for a while
Okay.
because they had found in his locker, thanks to A, some like test scores.
Right.
So they had suspended him, I guess, until the semester was over, and then, you know, maybe he'll come back. I honestly don't remember. Maybe he does. I know he's not. I know he's not like gone, but I don't remember when we see him again.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Are you a fan of Noel Khan, Brooke?
I'm on the fence about Noel Khan, I think, as a whole. I think it's crazy because with a lot of these characters, you kind of ebb and flow. Like there are times where you like are really rooting for them, and there's times where you're pissed at them, or you think, oh my God, they're A or they're in on this. So it's kind of the same
Mhm.
with Noel, like because it's hard because like I obviously know what happened. So it's like
Right.
now
Yeah.
again, it's like,
Right.
okay, I'm still on the fence about Noel. I don't dislike him. I
Yeah.
think he has his place.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
comes in more, I think, as the show goes on and kind of makes more sense.
Yeah. I think there's like a storyline either that does happen with him or I completely made it up. So I'm gonna have to look it up because it's wild if I remember it correctly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
I
maybe
do.
I think I'm onto something. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
I
to look
do
it up.
remember him being part of something, and I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not making it.
No, I don't think you are.
Okay,
I
good.
think I'm with you on that.
All right. So I look forward to opening up that whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is the only one besides our other girls that knows about Azaria, as we call them. That's not their real
Yes.
ship name, but we call them Azaria because it just
I like
flows
it.
off the tongue
It
nicer.
does. Zaria, yeah.
Yeah, so because of him knowing that, the girls they thought he was A, and like they
Yeah.
do have that setup where he does write I see you on the car. It
Yeah.
does look like he could be A, but ultimately he's not A.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
also have to touch upon some like Ezra Arya stuff.
Hmm.
I'm always like not excited to talk
Do
about
you
them.
do you like them as a
So mean.
couple, Brooke? Like, how do you feel about them?
I think at first I was like, okay, they have good chemistry. Like I get it. Like when they
Yes.
first meet and they really hit it off, and like I was kind of rooting for them. But like toward the end of the season, I'm like, Ari is just acting like a complete moron. Like she's acting like a child, really, if we're
Yeah.
being honest. Like her age
Hmm.
is kind of showing, and I'm like not rooting for them as much. It's like,
Yes.
get it together.
Yeah, and I feel like throughout the entire show we're having these same arguments
Yeah.
because she is underage and a
Right.
teenager and he is just obviously way more established in his life.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's hard to even just watch in the first season and then knowing like, oh God, we still have so much of that to go.
Yeah.
And Michelle is
Yeah.
like, "Yay, I'm so excited."
I've told Liz that I actually zone out when they're on
Yeah.
screen, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, well, when I zone back in or come back, we're still talking about the same things.
Yeah,
I
and I'm like,
know.
to
Like I
be
haven't
fair, I'm
missed
just summing it
much.
up, and it's the
I
same thing
know.
over and over again every episode,
It
basically.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right
Yeah.
Yeah.
to tune it out. It does. Yeah.
But some drama does happen by the end of this season. We have an ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance
Beyonce.
of
Yeah.
Ezra, Jackie Molina, who works at Hollis College and will be potentially working with Ezra. So,
Uh-huh.
So she becomes a character.
I think yeah, we do see her definitely more.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's not like a big
A
I
fixer.
big
don't
dill
think
pickle.
Yeah.
she doesn't
Got it.
really.
Mm.
Yeah. For their
Bummer.
storyline, at least, it's not
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a
nothing
big
really
thing.
exciting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have Arya's parents who are dealing with this infidelity pretty early on in the season. I mean, the audience knows about it, and
Hmm.
then A does eventually tell Ella that this is happening, which Byron is just trash to me.
Well,
Ever,
it's, you
he's
know,
just gross. Like, I
it
don't
is
know. There's
gross.
just knowing what I know about him even in the first season, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
Byron.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had an affair with a student. His daughter's dating a teacher. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we haven't
Right.
seen her. You said she's not on, like, she makes a comeback. The person he had an affair with?
Yes, Meredith.
Meredith.
She does come back at some point.
Gosh,
I
I
don't know
don't
when.
remember
Wow.
either.
Another like fever dream I feel like I had
I
about the show.
know.
I was like, is that a real thing? Maybe
I,
it is.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that feel like fever dreams when it
Yeah.
comes to this show.
Well, so much happens on this show that it's like hard to, there's a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
Plus, when the
Right.
seasons are so long, it's hard to remember, like, did this happen this season? Was that like there were things that happened that I could have sworn were at the end of this season and they were not.
Mm,
So, like, they
Mm.
haven't happened yet. I'm like, wow, okay. Interesting.
yeah. Right, exactly. And it all just blends together
It does.
You
Yeah.
know, all of like the high school years. And then
Mhm.
like after post that, forget about it. I don't remember like anything that happens when they get out of high school.
Yeah. Well, are they seniors?
No, they're
Okay, they
juniors.
are juniors. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
100% sure. I was like, because Aria was talking about looking at colleges, and I'm like, but I guess it makes sense because if they were seniors, it wouldn't be that big of a deal with Ezra.
Yeah. But I don't know when they like go on and graduate. Like I
Yeah,
feel like we have a while until then.
I know. I don't have any
Even though they're
memory
only
of them.
like they're juniors, but it, like would make sense. Okay, maybe another season then they would graduate. It doesn't happen that way that I
No,
remember. So,
no.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
we'll see, Michelle. It's
Yes,
a
we will.
journey.
it sure is.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
As I said, another suspect of A is Jenna Marshall, who does come back into town after Allie has their funeral. Have they have Allie's funeral because now I
Mhm.
guess she feels like, hey, I can come back into town,
Right.
and she's determined to prevent anyone from finding out about her and Toby.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Toby, he plays a huge part in this season. At first, as I said
Yes.
before, he is a suspect that we learn the evidence is inconclusive, so he does go free, but he's like, I'm being framed, obviously. And then another person who's being framed is Spencer. And because
Mhm.
of this, the two really they form a bond, and then it eventually leads into this romantic relationship, which I'm just loving.
I
I'm so
know.
happy this is happening.
They're so sweet together. They balance each other out so well.
Yeah.
Like there's that scene in like the last episode where is it the last episode where Spencer's like asleep on his lap, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
first
God.
of
She's
all,
like,
how could anyone fall asleep like that? Like that is very unrealistic, but it's like sweet. I don't know. Like she just feels so safe with him, and it's so
I
sweet. I love them
know.
together.
I
It's
know.
really sweet. I predicted, or I put it out there that he's the one who came and saved her,
Mm.
like in the bell
Oh.
tower. I was like,
Mhm.
Yes.
oh, this
She thinks that
is
Toby is the A looking
yeah, but
figure.
right, but it's not actually A in my mind. That wasn't A. It was just Toby
Mhm.
in a hoodie coming to save Spencer. We
Yeah,
shall
Hmm.
see.
we shall.
I
I
think
mean,
I'm
whoever it
wrong.
is,
Yeah, but
Ian obviously knows.
right,
Right.
Yeah.
right,
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing here? So
Mm-hmm.
right.
It's so crazy.
I know. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Oh, goodness. We have Emily dealing with her sexuality, and we
Yes.
find out that she had once had feelings, very strong feelings, feelings of love for Allison.
Mm-hmm.
And in this season, she's exploring her emotions and feelings with a newcomer, Maya St. Germain,
Mm-hmm.
whose family has now moved into Allie's old home.
Yes.
And so Emily's really conservative mom does
Mm.
not like this whatsoever. She's not handling it well. And she like single-handedly gets Maya shipped off to juvie camp. What? This
I
is
was
so weird.
so mad at her mom. Like,
Oh
so
my God.
mad.
Yeah.
Like, this is. What?
Terrible.
Yeah.
And poor Maya, like, she's just there, forced. And we've had that whole argument, Michelle and I, talking about how Maya's parents, it just didn't seem like they would be the type of people to send their kid off to juvie camp. Like, they were
Yeah.
cool people.
Yeah. It was just so
So,
easy. Like,
yeah,
all right,
Yeah.
fine. We believe you, lady.
yeah. I think from what I can predict, I feel like the actress probably just had another job and
Yeah.
they had to do something with that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
probably accurate.
Yeah. Because it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So Pam and Emily, they do eventually, I wouldn't say like patch things up, but maybe band-aid their relationship for
Yeah.
the time being, and they coexist while Emily deals with homophobia from parents at school, like Nick McCullers, and
Mhm.
then we meet Paige McCullers.
Oh,
Brooke, I'm
Paige.
sure you remember Paige McCullers. Like you can
Of
never forget
course.
Paige.
You really can't forget Paige. Yeah. She's another one that you go on a real journey with, I feel like, on this show, you know?
Right.
Start off, she's very much a pain in the ass. And then
Very much.
kind of comes around, and yeah, that's a fun story that I think unfolds as time goes on without saying too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And she does soften. I mean,
She
granted,
does.
at the end of this season, we see a little bit of it, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige and Emily, they do have the romantic feelings for each other, and but Paige is just ultimately not ready to tell the world that she's gay,
Yeah.
and Emily finally this season has found her voice and her footing, and she feels like she knows who she is as a person and
Yeah.
doesn't want to be held back by that. And so I just loved watching from like the first moment we meet Emily to the end of the season. Like she
Yeah.
completely did a 180. It really just held her own, and I just really enjoyed watching her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she
has a
really
good
grew.
arc. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah,
grew for me.
And I love her friendship with Toby too.
me
Just
too.
I
Yeah.
think that's a fun friendship. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love a platonic relationship. Like we
I
never get that
know.
on teen dramas. Almost
No.
ever.
Yeah. That's like Hannah and Lucas too. I mean, obviously Lucas is in love with Hannah, but he comes around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does that selfless act in the end of the
Yeah.
season, bringing
Yeah.
Caleb in. Ah, Caleb.
Oh,
Caleb.
Caleb. Oh man.
It's- the listeners are like enough already
I
with
know, I
Caleb.
know, I know, I
No,
know.
never enough.
This is our podcast and we
We
can
love
say
him.
what we want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. This is our podcast.
I love it.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about Hannah. I think Michelle and I have voted her and Spencer, we teeter between our top two
Yeah.
liars. If we had to pick, at least in this first season, Hannah made such a great, tremendous progress. The first time we meet her, she's stealing sunglasses, and then the last time we see her, she's like telling someone like she loves them. Like
Yeah.
she's such a good friend, good
She is.
person. And when we get introduced to her, she is the it girl that
Yeah.
has taken on Allie's responsibility of that, but not a
Right.
mean girl.
Right.
But
That's important.
Mona,
Ugh.
her friend, on the other
Oh,
hand,
Mona.
is really quickly becoming Allison and being mean.
Just the worst. Really. Really unlikable character all around,
I
Mona.
feel like she's funny, definitely funny, but not like the more that you see her, the more you're like, well, you're just a crappy person. Like you're just not
Yeah.
nice.
Great
Yeah.
actor though. Like she plays it
Amazing.
so well. Like
Yeah.
you got
Hmm.
to give her credit for that for sure. Plays a good mean
Yeah.
girl.
She definitely has like Blair Waldorf
Mm-hmm.
vibes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
We'll see. Maybe she'll make a turn. I don't remember, honestly.
See, I remember so much about Mona for some reason.
I mean, I remember like big things that happened with
Yeah.
Mona, but I don't like remember her
Her
uh,
journey, like
her
her
journey.
little things. Yeah.
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 Michelle's like taking it in.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know. She's like, okay,
absorbing.
let me write
I'm
that
the
down.
sponge right
Those
now.
clues.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But we see Hannah and Mona's relationship, which they have each other, and then when the girls start hanging out again, Mona's kind of like thrown, thrown to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
And we also see Hannah befriend the underdog Lucas, as we said before, who is I love Lucas.
I
He's
know.
definitely he definitely made like a good turnaround too in this first season
Yeah.
where him and Hannah do really become like good friends, and
Friends.
he
Yeah.
gets over the fact that he's in love with her,
I know.
which I feel like who's like friend zoned, so he like knows he has to just kind of move on,
Right.
you know?
Sad. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I will say like I don't love how long it took Hannah to stick up for Lucas with Mona. Like there were a couple
Mm,
times I'm like, just say something. Like tell her to stop. And then finally she does.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, okay, good. I was like, if it were me, I'd be like, no, stop. Stop talking. Stop calling
Yeah.
him that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad she came around. And I do.
Yeah, I mean her nicknames are just
Yeah.
awful.
Awful.
Yeah. I feel like if this show was on today, that would not be a thing at
Never.
all. No.
No, no, no,
Definitely
no.
That
not the
would
sign of
not
the times.
fly.
Yeah.
Definitely would not fly.
No.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's funny because this show is very progressive, like in its storylines, like with Emily and all the relationships, I feel like. So it's
Mm,
kind of crazy that that made the cut.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's
know.
unfortunate,
Yeah,
but
it is.
yeah, Hannah does stick up for Lucas, and she's coming out of her like I wouldn't say like her popularity shell, but like
Mhm.
you can see she's using her popularity for good and not
Yeah.
for evil. And I love the dynamic between her and her mother at home. It's like as we were talking with, I think it was it with Molly? We were talking about how like almost like Gilmore Girl-esque
Yeah.
mother and daughter and how
Mhm.
close they are to each other and how they were dealing with their financial woes and how they're
Yeah.
on each other's sides and a blackmailing Hannah because of it. And that's like the only time we really see Hannah become, I wouldn't say a bad friend, but having issues with her friendship is because of A and what A is
Yeah.
forcing her to do throughout the few episodes that they're blackmailing her.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah, they do have a very supportive mother-daughter relationship. I think the only other mother-daughter on the show that comes close to that is Arya and Ella.
hmm
But
yeah.
I do like with Hannah and her mom, they kind of just are like, listen, you're gonna do some shit and I'm gonna support you through it. Like it's just us against the world. So let's do it,
Yeah.
you know? I love
So
that.
true. So true.
Yeah. Like we'll do some shady shit and like hope
Yeah.
for the best. If I go
Yeah.
to jail, you got my back, vice versa.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you have a favorite parent
I really
at this point, I guess?
I really like Ella. I
Mm.
think she's just very normal and sweet and supportive. Yeah, I think she's probably my favorite parent right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
if I
sweet.
had to choose. Yeah, I just like her. I just think she's nice. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is actually very supportive, and I liked the fact that Byron was going through Arya's stuff, and she was like,
Yeah,
we're
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
respecting our
Yeah.
kids' privacy.
right.
We don't lie. We don't like, do shady shit. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
She's,
we'll get
she's a
more
good
with her.
parent. She's a good
Yeah,
parent. Yeah, yeah.
definitely. On back to Hannah though, as we were talking about Caleb. We have hired Caleb to, I mean, the first was to get Emily to be able to talk to Maya, but
Mm-hmm.
then they utilized him to kind of break into Jenna's phone. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what I was thinking? Did he not give them information from Jenna's phone because he was working for Jenna?
It's
Or
possible.
he literally just didn't know how to use her phone,
Mm. If
you
I
know?
had to guess, it's because he was working with Jenna.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, come on, you can't get into this phone.
Right.
You're a
Yeah.
sexy hacker. You can get in
I
there if you
know.
want to.
This is what you do.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. But then again, at that point, that was right after Hannah had seen him naked in the shower.
Yeah.
And I feel like at that point already he was starting to like catch feelings for her and vice versa.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say like, no, he actually couldn't jailbreak it
Yeah.
and there was nothing to report on. But it was just a thought of my mind when it was like, in retrospect, I'm like, wait a minute, did he not
Yeah.
give them the information on purpose? But
A good thought.
we'll see.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And then another huge thing that happens is this key that Caleb was supposed to be signed up to find, and it's actually in Emily's possession. It's under a snow globe that Allison had given her as a present from when she came back from her trip.
Yeah.
And this leads them to a storage unit with one lunchbox, just
Yeah.
one lunchbox.
And some very crazy lighting that you would never see in a storage unit. Like those overhead spotlights. It's like no
Yeah.
storage unit has this lighting.
You're so right.
Yes,
It's so
yes, yes.
unrealistic.
It is.
So true. Oh my
And
gosh.
then just one Tweety Bird lunchbox, just
Mhm.
randomly in the middle, like perfectly in the middle of this storage unit.
Yeah.
And inside
Weird.
is that thumb drive that has videos of the girls. It seems like for years. It
Yeah.
also has Toby and Jenna on it. Who knows whatever else is on there. It's unclear who is behind the camera, but I think we're to either assume it was Ian
Yeah.
or maybe it was Garrett
Mm.
or maybe it was someone else.
Yeah.
So
Well, whoever it was obviously had a boom mic because they picked up some really great audio from from wherever they were. It's like you can hear Jenna whispering to Toby, basically.
so freaking true. So true.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. They had great
So
equipment,
sweet.
They
whoever it
did.
was.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Real
Yeah.
hobby. Yeah.
But in a nutshell, besides like Ian being a crazy person, really truly wanting to murder his sister-in-law, that was the season, you know. It was a good first season, definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
I have some honorable mentions for most of these people who are not gone, but some of them, or opposite, I should say, most of them are gone, but some of them are not. But I'm not going to tell you who they are, Michelle.
Oh my
So
God, come on, really?
I think some of them I've confirmed that they're either coming back or not. But I will. The honorable mentions we have are Alex, Spencer's boyfriend.
Okay, I
Yes.
was just about to be like,
Who's
Alex?
Alex?
I know for a second I was like, wait, who's Alex?
I know.
I totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
know.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Alex Bonita, I think. And that was, you know, a nice storyline that they abruptly ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have brother Jason, who came into town, and then we'll soon get new brother Jason,
I was
which
just gonna
I'm
say.
so excited for him.
It's like, what for? We can say this, but like the guy they get to play Jason looks nothing like the original Jason.
I know,
Like, not even remotely close.
I
It's like,
know.
what happened here?
It's such a stark difference that the audience was like, wait, that is definitely not the same, trying to be the same person.
Yeah.
Do they poke fun at that? Or it's seamless?
Think
We
I don't
just-
think so.
Just transition.
We're just supposed
right
to
in.
suspend belief. Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it,
oh
got
yeah,
it.
they're definitely, there's
Okay.
no conversation like, hey Jason, you cut your hair. Hey
Right.
Jason, you like
Something
dyed
funny.
it. Where were
Yeah.
you the last 6 months getting a face transplant? Like nobody
Right,
says
yeah.
anything like that.
Full reconstructive
It's just
surgery.
like,
yeah.
we just ignore
Got
and go
it.
on.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Like he
Okay.
could have been in a fire. They could have said something like that. Like he had to get surgery. Like
Yeah.
they could have said
Yes.
something. But
They
yeah,
make it make sense. They didn't.
they did.
But as
Mhm.
I said to Michelle, I am excited for new Jason because I
Yeah.
find him to be adorable.
Yeah, it's a better Jason for sure.
Yeah. We have Meredith, who is Byron's mistress.
Yeah.
Hannah's dad, Tom. We met him this season.
Oh, yeah. God,
He's
we
not
did.
on the island.
Okay.
Right.
We'll see him again.
Yeah.
Detective Wilden. Remember him?
Yeah, he's such a
Mhm.
dick.
Douchey
He's a
detective.
dick. Yeah.
Sean. Vanilla Sean.
Oh
Does
my
Sean come
God.
back?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't think so. I forgot all about Sean.
Good.
Yeah.
He can go.
Yeah, yeah, he's just
Michelle and I, by the end, were like,
Boring.
God, Sean, go.
Yeah. It's like even if he did come back, is Hannah really gonna choose him over Caleb? Come on.
No,
No.
never.
No.
No. Ben, who was Emily's nasty boyfriend,
Oh,
very
God, yeah.
briefly.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that guy.
We have Ezra's roommate, Hardy, who is played by Patrick Adams. We have Wayne, Emily's dad. We meet him in this season.
Mhm.
Simone, Arya's old babysitter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And then we have
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Potter and Mr. Leland.
Well, Mrs. Potter's
R.I.P.
definitely dead.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
dead.
Okay.
She's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then I have just some Allie or A events that are left unclear. So things that are very like suspicious or vague or things that will get summed up eventually. But what has happened in the first season, the things that have just left us with some questions. So we have a photo taken of Allison leaving Spencer's barn that night. We still don't really have confirmation as to who took this photo.
Right.
Jason thinks it could be him, but he's not really sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like the whole Hilton Head thing still very unclear. Very
Yeah.
unclear.
That was yeah. Because Melissa's
Mhm.
like, he was there to see me, but then why was Allie there? Why was
Right.
she-
Right.
Also, why do you have to go to Hilton Head to get an abortion?
And you live in
You-
Pennsylvania.
you live
You're
in
not
Pennsylvania,
going
like,
to
you
the
didn't-
South to get an abortion.
Yeah.
Didn't make
well,
sense.
you got a free abortion with a round of golf at that place, so
There you go.
it was cost effective. Yeah.
That's what it
Exactly.
was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. The video footage that A had sent to the girls to show that Allie was with Ian that
Mhm.
night, it's
Mhm.
still the police still don't have that it's confirmed he was in this video. And we don't know if obviously Spencer doesn't have any copies, but
Right.
we don't know who deleted the video off of
Yeah.
Spencer's laptop.
That's true.
Was it Ian? Was it A?
Mm-hmm.
What else? The fake friendship bracelets from Jenna and Allison, and the woman at the store covering up who bought them.
Yeah.
Did we go back to that?
I think so.
I think
yeah,
so,
I think
because
so.
she says to whoever she's talking about something about their eyes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
You have such beautiful eyes or something.
And I don't remember who she's talking to. And so I'm like, oh my God, who has beautiful eyes? Who has beautiful eyes? Like, so many of them have beautiful eyes.
I know. I was same. I was like, I don't remember anything about that.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The home videos of the girls, Jenna and Toby, unclear who took them, and kind of unclear how Allie got them. I mean, if it was Ian, maybe that would make sense that she would get them from Ian, but if it's not Ian, then how did she get them in her possession?
Right.
Who pushed Ian off the ledge at church? Is it A, a friend, a foe, other? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's safe to say they're a foe at this point. To Ian, at least.
Yeah. To Ian, at least. Yes.
Ian, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Who hit Hannah with their car? Still don't know that.
God.
Allie coming to Hannah in a dream, telling her that she already knows the truth.
Yeah. I totally forgot about this scene. I keep saying I'm like a broken record
love it.
here.
I
like,
know.
I totally forgot about that. Oh my God. But for like a split second, I'm like, wait, I think this actually is real. Remember I said that? I'm like, what if
you
Allie's
did
actually alive? I mean, it could be.
Well, that's the whole fun about it is,
that's right.
You know, which one is it? It would be awesome if she was alive actually telling Hannah these things.
Yeah.
And then my last one for LOL, Mrs. Potter's death. Was it A? Was it old age? We'll never know.
We'll never know.
I really hope A did not kill this woman. You know, let's just Ian fine, but not Mrs. Potter.
Right.
Yeah.
So this whole season, like A has utilized their secrets to their advantage, but then sometimes A just like surprises all of us and saves Ezra and Arya's relationship or kills Ian. So we think, you know, it's just like, who are they? What are they up to?
I know.
What is their main goal?
I know. It's like, I almost feel like the way A comes in and like saves them sometimes is like, well, they're my play toys and I don't want anything to happen to them. So I'm going to make sure they stick around and they're still here for me to play with.
Exactly. You know? The puppets or the dolls, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I think it's a pretty damn good first season of a ridiculous television show that only gets more and more ridiculous.
Yeah. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's like escapism in a really fun way. And
absolutely.
Like a serious way.
Yeah, it's a great fantasy. And it leaves you coming back for more. Like you're always wanting more.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, so overall, it was fun. And I can't wait to watch season 2 with you, Michelle.
Same. Yeah, I can't believe we have to wait till the fall. Oh my God.
I know. We have to wait till the fall.
Oh, you do? I'm like, I started like season 2 just started playing and I was like, no, I'm going to end this because I'm going to get confused. Like talking to you guys, I'm like, I'm going to think something happened that didn't happen and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So I'm like, I'm going to stop, but I will continue. Like tomorrow, I'm going to keep watching it. So
yes. I know I did play like the first 10 to 15 minutes of season 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, no, I can't watch anymore, even though I really, really wanted to. Like I was getting on a binge. I was liking where it was going.
It's an easy show to binge.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Totally binge this. If we were not podcasting it, I would have just been flying.
I know. We'd be done by now. We started the show in August. I feel like by now we would be done with the whole show.
Yeah.
If we binged it.
It's also a show that like kind of pisses you off after a while because you know, they kept it going for 7 seasons. It's like at some point, it's like, just tell us. Like, just tell us what's going on. I know my parents started watching it when it first came out and then stopped because they got so mad. But I have nothing better to do, so I stuck with it. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm in for the ride.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like at that point, as they kept getting signed on for more seasons, I would get like more and more pissed that we were getting signed on for more seasons because I was
Yeah.
like, wait, no, it's never ending. We're never going to find out like the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
And just remember like I watched it with my sister and our friends and my mom. My mom even watched it with us, and we all just like was like, blah, 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 blah. As soon as the episode would end, like we couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
like such a fun time in my life. Like
I
it just
know.
was good times. Like I had no responsibilities. It was like
Yeah.
2010. I
Yeah.
just would sit and watch television and go on message boards and just see what everyone's A predictions were. It was
Yeah.
fun.
I wish I would have done that at the time, like had a community to talk about it with, just because,
Yeah.
you have so many theories and so many things are going on.
It definitely
Like,
helped. It helped me feel better about the situation because everyone was like equally frustrated
yeah. Yeah.
and mad or like just up in arms about whatever. So it was definitely a fun time to be on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet.
What was
Not
I
anymore.
watching when you guys were gathering? What was I doing? Was I
Lost?
just
Was Lost
home
on
by
then?
myself?
Was Lost
Yeah.
on that?
Uh
Maybe. Yeah. I
yeah,
think Lost
Lost was
was on.
definitely on.
Yeah, because you guys watched that. Like, I mean, I still have never seen that show, which I'd love
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
at some point. But like that was on then. I don't really
Yeah.
remember what else. Like
Glee? Was Glee
Glee.
on
Glee
I
was
then?
watched
on, yeah.
Glee.
That was probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point, this was like the only show that I watched that was on ABC Family. Like at this point, we were
Yeah.
totally way grown to watch
Yeah.
anything on ABC
Yep.
Family.
We were too old then and we're too old
We were
now to be watching it again.
exactly,
Correct.
exactly,
But you know what? Who cares?
absolutely. Right. It's an escapism. We need that in the world
Yeah.
today just
Yeah,
to feel,
100%.
some sort of something different, feel
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's good times. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Brooke. This
Thank
Oh
is
my
you,
gosh.
Brooke.
awesome.
Thank
And we would love to
you.
have you on again if you're,
Yeah,
up for it, season
of
2.
course. Yeah, I'm gonna want to talk about it to somebody. So it's unfortunately you guys. Unfortunately for you. Now you're who I
Well,
go to.
please DM or email me any thoughts you have.
Oh, I
And
will.
if you remember something crazy, definitely let me know because I'm sure I don't remember it and we'd
I
have to
know.
talk about it.
Yeah,
Just like,
definitely.
oh, I remember that Noel Con thing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I will. Trust me, I will.
Awesome. This has been such a fun first season. We thank everyone for listening and sticking with us for 22 weeks. I mean, it's a long show.
Very long.
So we have a lot to go, and we'll be back in the fall at the date TBD, but
Yeah.
sometime in October, we think.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good time
Yeah.
for this. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Brooke. This was
Thank you,
awesome. We
Brooke.
really
Yeah, thanks,
appreciate
guys.
you.
Of
This was
course.
great. Super
Thanks for having
fun.
me. Yeah.